Hey guys, Victoria here, and welcome to the Geeky Sandbox. Today we're going to be doing a non-spoiler review over the movie Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's been about 2 weeks. I wanted to give everyone a chance to go see it, or at least hear about most of it anyway, before I decided to do any kind of review. I definitely went ahead myself and saw it twice. So just buckle up, get ready. This is a very interesting movie. So the plot was very easy to follow. It followed that same Marvel format, especially when it comes to sequels. I really feel like, personally, there wasn't anything wrong with the plot, though I know a lot of people were a little upset because Ant-Man, Paul Rudd's character, had took a back seat the entire movie, which personally, I love Paul Rudd, but I didn't mind. I really enjoyed seeing the Wasp, played by Evangeline Lilly, kind of take that front seat and kind of, I don't know, show her ability, show what she's capable of. Because in that first movie, she took the back seat and she was just kind of giving Ant-Man like the tools and resources he needed in order to be a well-trained superhero. And also, honestly, this movie is more about her story, which, I mean, Ant-Man tagged along for the ride, which I can see that complaint, which it was a little bit like, but like, this was her story. It was about her family, because as we know, because within the trailers and the synopsis and things like that, they're trying to find her mother. They're trying to find her mother, Janet, who went down to the subatomic level, trying to save the world with her husband. That's me trying not to give away any specific spoilers. And so they were never able to find her within the quantum realm. But they know Scott, having been there before and was able to come back, they want to get what's inside his head to see if it's a possibility that she could still be down there. So obviously this is about their family reuniting, and Scott Lang, Ant-Man, is just there to help. In regard to performances, I think everybody did a really great job. Evangeline Lilly, I just can't stop talking about her. She was amazing and believable as a daughter that hasn't seen her mother in a bazillion years. Michelle Pfeiffer was amazing. By the way, she's super gorgeous. They had a couple of scenes where they had to de-age a couple of characters, and like her next to Michael Douglas, which Michael Douglas was very, very good with his one-liners in this movie. She did not have to even be like de-aged. It just goes to show you Michelle Pfeiffer is looking good these days. But in regard to performances, she did good. Like I said, Michael Douglas did amazing with his one-liners. There were always these moments when maybe Hope and Scott were looking into each other's eyes, and he's just kind of like, so are we gonna just sit here until the bad guys start shooting at us, or are you going to keep fantasizing about my daughter? Like, what are we going to do here? And I feel like those were genuine and hilarious moments that I feel like that character would actually say. Now, as for Paul Rudd, this one definitely, or as for Ant-Man, this is definitely one of the more hotter topics. I know a lot of people felt like, in terms of his intelligence, that it was lowered a little bit for this movie. And part of that is because Paul Rudd is an amazing comedian, and he's very good at improvising. He puts his own spin on things, and you can see Paul Rudd's goofiness and I don't know, honestly, his I can't think of the word. Interpretation. There we go. His interpretation of the character. For him, Scott Lang isn't the brightest bulb in the box. Like, he's very intelligent in regard to engineering things and fixing things. Like, he still has all those technical things down. But when it comes to more scientific based things, or more science based things, and things with the quantum realm, he's just kind of like, what? And I know I don't know, it was a little bit off-putting, but like, because, you know, we kind of saw him just kind of shine through in terms of that being quick on his feet, and within the first Ant-Man movie. But I still, like, I don't know, after seeing it twice, it did grow on me. Just his portrayal of Scott Lang in this one, it did fit in comparison to what Evangeline Lilly did with Hope Van Dyne. So I feel like, I don't know, it kind of grew on me. I don't know if it'll grow on you or not, but that was one of the bigger things people did not like about the performance from Paul Rudd as Ant-Man within this one. In regard to in regard to improv, Paul Rudd was amazing, and so was Randall Park. I believe that's his name. He plays an FBI agent, Jimmy Woo, within this movie. Their banter together is so amazing. Those are probably some of my most favorite parts within the movie. Those two talking to each other, just kind of like bouncing lines off of each other. You could tell not all of it was scripted and that they were having a good time being these characters within those moments. So if anything, that's something that you will definitely enjoy too, I hope. In regard to Ghost, first of all, she did an amazing job playing Ghost. However, the way Ghost was written, I really wish Ghost would have been, her character would have been developed a lot more, because when she first comes on the scene, it's very cool. She's very threatening. She's just such a badass. But then whenever we get her out of that costume and she begins speaking and just kind of talking about what she's about and things like that, that was pretty much it. We never get anything outside of that. And I really wish we could have had more development from that character. And then it comes down to, who do you like better? That was a whole thing a lot of people had a problem with. Personally, now having seen the movie twice, I can definitely see that, because you're like, she's the bad guy. Of course we want our heroes to save Janet, the original Wasp, from the quantum realm. Like, okay, you need to be fixed, but we're just going to deal with this first. And so I feel like had they developed Ghost more, then we wouldn't have had that issue of pretending to decide who was more important to save, because of course everyone was leaning towards Janet. Now, if they would have done a thing where maybe the stakes were higher, maybe, I don't know, if they saved Janet, something was going to happen to the entire world, or maybe Ghost was a secret relative of someone, or maybe Ghost had intel on something that they needed in order to get Janet out. You know what I mean? Something where the stakes were higher, where they weren't able to toss her to the side and disregard what she needed. But the idea was there, them trying to choose, are we going to just really just let this villain die? Or are we going to save Janet? Like, the idea was there, but I think the execution, had they developed both characters, honestly, would have made the stakes a lot higher, and you would have really felt like you had something to lose. By the way, there was also something weird that happens with a certain character towards the end of the movie that was very like, oh, everything's fixed now. And I was kind of like, what? So I don't know, there were a few things like, oh, everything's fixed now, or this person can do this now. They were kind of a little weird, but I just kind of let it ride. But I definitely have to do some research about that, whether it was in the comic books or not, because I'm not a huge, massive Ant-Man and the Wasp fan whenever it comes to the comics. The action sequences, I like them. I know a lot of people didn't, in regard to the shrinking and the phasing, because it was just a lot going on and not any direct hits or any hits landing. But personally, I really liked it. And especially some of the shrinking they did with other items and or items that they enlarged throughout the movies. There were some funny gags and such. And speaking of funny gags, Michael Pena, you guys know I talk about him on this channel. Flawless. If you're worried about if Louise is going to be funny in this movie, hilarious, intelligent, hilarious, on, like, just light on his toes, quick on his feet, whatever you may. He was great. But speaking of that, the relationship with his daughter was I don't know, it was well performed. It was beautifully written. I really enjoyed every scene that they had together. She's such a really, like, nice up and coming actress. I think she did a really great job pulling on the heartstrings of the audience, as well as just being able to be real and transparent with her dad. Very good scenes. In regards to how well does this movie tie into the current Marvel cinematic universe, I feel like it did its job. Like, I know a lot of people said, oh, this is supposed to be the light movie after everything Thanos did to us. And it was that. But then I feel like people didn't go in taking it serious almost, which that is a little disappointing, because there were a few people in my theater that were just kind of like, I'm just here for the post-credit scene, which is fine. But I really did enjoy the first Ant-Man movie, so I was interested to see how him going to Germany affected his relationship with his daughter and his friends. And they do talk about that quite a bit in the movie. So I was disappointed that not a lot of people were very excited about this one. Like I said, I love Paul Rudd. I love Ant-Man. So I was interested. So what do I give Ant-Man and the Wasp? I give Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 out of 5 geeks, maybe even 2.5 out of 5. It was not the worst movie in the entire MCU. It definitely wasn't, but it wasn't like amazing. Like, it wasn't as good as the first one. There were a few things that I felt like could have made the movie a lot stronger, but I do feel like I still went in and enjoyed what it was. So I feel like, with that being said, go and see this movie. See it twice if you have to. You'll get some really great laughs, and you'll get some really great heartfelt scenes as well. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a like rating down below. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that super teeny tiny subscribe button so you can get more movie reviews like this one. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.